You know the 1945 Hiroshima nuclear bombing. You know Nagasaki nuclear bombing. What you don't know is that Moscow could have been next if British leader Winston Churchill had it his way.
He had a conversation with a senator named Stiles Bridges from New Hampshire in the United States. And Bridges reported to the FBI that Churchill had told him that the United States, to combat the expansionism of the Soviet Union, should consider using the atomic bomb, including, if necessary, dropping the bomb on the Kremlin.
Thomas recently uncovered a document suggesting this type of thinking from Churchill, and amazingly, it was almost in plain sight. Thomas, how did you manage to uncover the document related to Winston Churchill on the FBI website?
In doing the research for my book, I tried to make sure that I looked at every possible document about Winston Churchill. So I looked at the FBI's website, and they have a number of different historical files of well-known figures, and that's where I found this document from 1947. This was probably put out there within the last 10 years or so, and as it turns out, nobody had actually reported about this.
The USSR and the UK may have been allies in defeating Nazism, and Churchill may have played a part in post-war division of Europe, but he never hid his resentment towards Moscow. His 1946 speech in Fulton, Missouri,
"An iron curtain has descended across the continent,"
is believed to have started the Cold War. Privately, though, he went even further. In a book, his private physician, Lord Moran, recalled this conversation with Churchill. He said, "We ought not wait until Russia is ready. America knows that 52% of Russia's motor industry is in Moscow and could be wiped out by a single bomb. It might mean wiping out 3 million people, but the Soviets would think nothing of that." Winston paused and smiled as he thought of this grotesque. They would think more of erasing a historical building like the Kremlin. This, however, was seen as merely a bellicose rhetoric, which fortunately few paid real attention to, as Churchill was out of power. When he was reinstated as UK's Prime Minister, he had to choose words more carefully.
There's no evidence that Truman ever did see this memo. It went to the FBI. But I think Truman would not have taken Churchill too seriously here. Churchill was not in power, so he really didn't have the influence at that point. When he got into power later on, Winston Churchill realized that the Soviet Union had developed its own nuclear weapons program.
Churchill's son Randolph went to Moscow in 1945 and recalled that despite being unhappy with the US not sharing the nuclear technology with them, the Soviet leaders did not lose a minute of sleep worrying whether Americans would A-bomb them. Little did they know his father would have done that if he could. Alexei Rashevsky, RT, reporting from New York City.